Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. Hope everyone's been making some money this week. I apologize for not posting as frequent as I'd like to. I had a busy week. I didn't get to do all my research. But that's okay. I want to spend this next few minutes that I have available for you guys to share with you how I use the EMA, the exponential moving average. And you'll notice on my chart, I'm gonna pull it up for you guys in just a second here, but you're gonna notice that on my charts, I have two EMAs. It's gonna be a blue line and an orange line. I don't typically use two, but I'll explain how you can use them, how I would use them if I did use to, and go from there. And I'm gonna use two stocks to share that with you guys today. So let's start with ticker symbol /ES, and then the second one will be ticker symbol / or no, not forward slash. It'll be CalX. That's the ticker symbol. And so this is a /ES right here. This is what we're looking at. And you'll notice again, I have two EMAs, the blue and an orange. The blue is a 20-day EMA. The orange is set to be a 50-day EMA. So before I get into those, what exactly is an EMA? In layman's terms, and the only way I know it, and I know I sound stupid for saying this, but literally to me, the EMA is just a support and resistance indicator. It's not something that I'm going to use to determine whether or not I buy the stock solely on the EMA, right? I would never rely on just one indicator. I want to make sure I have a few to help me be more confident when taking a position. So the EMA is just a support and resistance, and you'll see right here, typically the EMA will show you when you're in an uptrend or a downtrend. So this is the S&P 500 for the past 3 years. Right here on this uptrend, you'll notice that the price, the value of the stock is trading below the EMA. I'm sorry, above the EMA. The EMA is trading below the price of the stock. And typically, the value of the stock is going to ride that EMA like this has been doing. It's not going to be picture perfect, that's for sure, right? That's not how this game works. It's going to have some choppiness to it. You're never going to get something like this. I drew this out for you guys to see right there. You're never going to get something like this. You're going to get those false breakouts, and that they're going to come down here, and then they're going to come right back up above the EMA, things like that. It's never going to be perfect. And whether you decide to use a 20-day or a 50-day EMA, that's up to you, and that's based on how you like to trade. For me, I like a 20-day EMA because one, it's been working for me. Two, I don't want to hold for super long term. For those of you who want to trade, longer term or take longer term positions, then you could use like a 50-day EMA or maybe a 70-day. That depends on how you like to see it, right? So I personally don't use two. To me, when I have two EMAs on, it just looks a little bit too choppy for me. I like to keep my charts a little bit more on the cleaner side, just draw the patterns, have the EMA show me what's going on, go from there, right? Draw any resistances I see, and I don't want to make it super messy. So the EMA right here, obviously you can see it's been riding up, riding below the price of the stock while the stock was trending up. When the stock is trending down, for example, this is the COVID sell-off, the price of the stock is going to be below the value of the EMA, as you can see right here. And we can even go all the way back if we really wanted to. I'll go on the yearly. We can go all the way back. Let me go out a little bit more, 20 years. We can go all the way back here to 2008. Everyone knows about 2008. Look at this. We broke below the EMA, and when we tried to retest the EMA, we didn't break above. We ended up retesting it or testing the EMA and downtrending from there. Since then, the EMA was riding the top of the price. It was on top of the price rather than below. So how do I use this to determine whether I take my positions? Well, for that, we're going to move to CalX, CALX. Okay, this one was a big position of mine. Look at that green candle, you guys. We had earnings in which I sold for my profit, and I'm probably going to get back in a little bit today too, because there's no resistance level. Maybe the previous high, but I'm not going to go about that right now. I'm going to talk about the EMA. So anyways, let me actually take off my 50-day EMA as well too, because I do not use that. So that looks a lot more clean. Okay, so how do I use the EMA to determine whether I would get into this particular stock? Well, as I was saying, EMA acts as a support and resistance. If there's no support and resistance, then typically it's going to ride through the value of the stock rather than above or below it. So it'll look something like this. Stock is moving up, right, or moving a sideways pattern, blah, blah. The EMA is going to do something like this rather than something like this or something like this, right? EMA is going to move right in between the stock through the value of the stock. That's what this CalX pattern did right here when I saw this ascending triangle. It was riding through the stock. It did not confirm to me an uptrend until it broke the EMA and it broke my pattern. Again, I will not trade solely based off of one indicator. I need to have multiple, whether it be volume. My pattern is very important. Price action is always going to be very important. The EMA is a very good indicator that helps me a lot. And that, to me, that is a very nice golden rule for me. And if I really wanted to get a little bit more strict with myself, I can use that same rule on, say, the hourly chart, right? So I would want to see the break of the pattern on the hourly. I would want to see the break of the EMA on the hourly too. And I also use the EMA to help me get out of my positions. So in the event that, okay, we use CalX one more time here. We had, for example, say this was all the information that I had here, right? We had right here is the trend line. The red line is the trend line of my ascending triangle. The break of the EMA happened about right here. The break of the trend line happened right here. The break of the trend line was also above the EMA. I appreciated that a lot. I decided to get in. It happened to be a false breakout. We broke below my pattern, not only below my pattern, but we broke below the EMA too on the following, 3-4 days. We had that big old red candle, right? We broke the pattern and we broke back the EMA. What did I do? I got out because one EMA is one of my indicators to get in. I can use it to get out as well because, again, it closed below the EMA, which is another sign of that it's going to be going back down, right? It closed below the EMA. It broke below the EMA and my pattern as well. So, of course, I'm going to get out. I don't want to have to worry about this anymore, right? And so long as I pay attention to this stock, which I did, right? It broke above the EMA again. It broke above my trend line again. I got back in. And from there, I can use the EMA as an indicator. Right here is where you would want to pay attention to, right? So typically, again, like I said, EMA can act as a support and resistance. That's very true. It's not going to be the nicest or the cleanest, but it definitely can act as a support and resistance. You can see that bounce right there. You can see a bounce right here. And then from here, we consolidated through the value of the stock, right? So in this event, we broke up above the EMA, right? We had the high of $60. We came coming down to below the EMA, and we closed below the EMA. I took that as a sign to sell because if I waited for the next day, who knows? What if the stock opened below the EMA and just came crashing down, right? I don't want to lose what profits I've lost already from this little sell-off. I don't want to do that. I would rather take my profits where I have it right there and pay attention to get back in. Had I paid attention and woken up early this morning, I could have got back into CalX and made a big profit on it at the open. It would have been 9% already. But that's okay. I'm not looking for the best position all the time anyway. But yeah, that is a very good way to use the EMA. But do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not use the EMA as the only indicator that you have to trade. So if all of a sudden you see a break of the EMA, that does not mean that you should just hop into that particular stock that you're looking at. If that's all you see, if you see a break of the EMA, if all you see is the break, or maybe you saw a bounce, that's not a valid way to trade. You can't just use one indicator. With this right here, there's a infinite amount of tools and indicators and things that you can learn in order to take a trade. Neither of those things are going to work, and all of those things are going to work. That's what you have to understand in this business, is that you never for sure know what the value of the stock, where it's headed. All you know is the information you have before you, correct? So you want to use as much information as you can. Don't overwhelm yourself because, like I said, everything works, nothing works, right? So it's easy to overwhelm yourself because you always want to be right. It's not how this business works. I've taken, of 100 trades for 2020, I think probably about 30 of those were winning trades of 100 trades. Think about how mentally exhausting that is for you to have. And most of my losses came in a row. So I would have like 10 losses in a row. One big, nice, good trade, juicy. Another 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 losses in a row. And that is very draining. But so long, again, that's why we have rules. That's why we use indicators, and we stick to that plan that we set before us, okay? So that's how I use my EMA, you guys. I don't want to get too much on a tangent because I know that's where I'm probably going to go if I keep going. I hope this explained to you guys how I use this particular indicator. If you have any questions, feel free to holler at me, give me a comment or something like that. Let me know what you're confused about, and I'll do my best to help you guys out. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Make some money out there in the market or with whatever you guys are doing, and enjoy. Goodbye, everyone.